A couple of days ago, I talked about the situation with Dr. Disrespect, which set the internet on fire. There were basically two camps on the internet. One part absolutely despised him for what he was accused of, and the other half were just completely defending him to the point that he could do no wrong, and anyone that was bringing genuine criticism was being shut down. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you probably know what the doc has been accused of. I talked about it in the last video, and despite everyone else talking about the exact same topic and using the exact same language, my video was age restricted for some reason, and no one else was. So when I'm talking directly about what the doc was accused of, I'm just going to say it was quite bad. Now, loads and loads of information has came out since. One of the most important things that a lot of people actually looked over is the first person to break this story, Cody on Twitter, the former Twitch employee. This seems to be someone who's wanted to expose the doc for quite a long period of time. Even apparently at one point when he was promoting tickets for his band, was basically saying, if you buy tickets, I'll tell you what the doc did. So this is definitely a stew that has been cooking for quite a while, but something happened last night which really surprised me. The doc just came out and pretty much admitted it, said all of it was true. I'm sure you've seen the tweet, we'll go over it in a bit, but it is genuinely one of the worst responses I've ever seen. So he's put out a response talking about everything in great detail, and also the fact that the game company Midnight Society did let him go. So to summarize the lengthy tweet he put out, he basically admits he was talking to a minor through the Twitch Whisper system, which is basically like its DM system. And he does go on to say that even though the conversations were inappropriate, nothing illegal happened. There was no pictures, there was no crime, quote unquote, and there was no meetup that occurred. Now, one thing I would also like to add before going into this, I really don't think people realize how old the guy was when he was doing it. He was 35 years old, which to me is just crazy. I've seen a lot of clips online, especially one with Kai Cenat, where he basically finds out how old the doctor is. He does a bit of mental math, thanks to Google, and he fully freaks out and basically ends up unfollowing the guy.
An individual minor back in 2017, the answer is yeah. 2024, 3/7/35. What the fuck?
He also goes on to say that the lawsuit with Twitch wasn't a criminal case, but basically a civil dispute between two parties. He then goes on to do the typical YouTuber thing, basically saying, you know, he shouldn't have done it, he should have known better. And then bizarrely ends the tweet by basically saying he's going to take an extended break, and also that he doesn't care about the haters, which I feel is setting up like a bit of a barrier. It's like anyone that has genuine criticism with this statement is therefore classified as a hater, and like any opinion they have is completely invalidated. I think when you're accused of something so severe, the last thing you want to do is trying to basically, you know, sick your fan base on people. It has been wild seeing the reception that this tweet got, because I'm not sure why, but a lot of people, when I was like, you know, scrolling on TikTok and stuff, they basically just quoted it. I mean, these were usually, you know, Dr. Disrespect, literal stan accounts, like fan pages collecting clips of him, but they were, you know, all basically saying, oh, look, he's innocent. He put out a statement debunking everything. But the thing is, he didn't debunk anything. He admitted to what he was doing, but also at the same time, he kind of didn't. I mean, one thing that's really important here, I feel, is the age of the minor was never actually mentioned. And by not being clear with something like that, I feel that really muddies the waters. You know, it could be something as 17 or even as low as like 13. And I feel by keeping that ambiguous and not mentioning, it's almost like the Dr. Disrespect haters, people that never liked him for how outspoken he was on certain topics, are probably going to lower the age as much as they can. And then people that, you know, love the doc, they're probably going to try and raise the age as much as they can. Now, I'm not sure if this is like part of the lawsuit possibly, or one of the NDAs, or like this minor cannot be named or mentioned or even referenced to at all. Like they can only just refer to them as the minor. But again, it's not a good look. But one thing that's been really interesting looking over this is how the doc was just constantly denying it or trying to almost, you know, play it down. Obviously, I talked about in the last video that tweet of Jake Lucky that did numbers. The doc basically said, oh, it was all settled, nothing happened. And then on his, what I guess we're going to dub now, his final stream, he talked about it when in reality he didn't talk about it. The only thing he said about it is he's not going to say anything about it.
For those that are looking for me to expand on this weekend, not gonna. I already said what I needed to say.
Also, on top of that as well, Dr. Disrespect edited the tweet to remove the inclusion of minor and changing it to an individual. But again, it's like doing this on Twitter where you could basically see the post history and like how tweets are being edited. Again, it's really not a good look. I mean, I get it if you put a statement out there and he thought like, I spelled something wrong, that there should have been a comma there or an apostrophe, but something huge like that, like changing minor to individual, it just seems really scummy. But that being said, once he made the change, I'm assuming people kind of realized and called him out on it, and he did end up changing it back so it said minor, which if anything probably brought more attention to the word than if he never tried to edit it out in the first place. I love video games. You know what I love even more? money. And that's why Asphalt Legends Unite is the sponsor for today's video. Asphalt is a free-to-play arcade racing action game. There's jumps, spins, and 3 levels of nitro. Not Discord Nitro, idiot. And even better, if you get ready now for Asphalt Legends Unite, all your progress will carry over from Asphalt 9. There are over 250 hypercars and a brand new garage to display your collection.
Here in my garage, just bought this,
There's also a new state-of-the-art lighting system with improved graphics. There's also a new Singapore track with crazy lights and environments like roller coasters, the neon octopus, and of course, the giant aquarium. This is a brand new multiplayer experience that you'll be able to play anywhere with your friends. The game is available on Android, iOS, PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Steam Deck, and even the PS5 and 4. So finally, the PS5 has a game. And you can also do crossplay on any platform as long as you have the same account. Asphalt Legends Unite will launch on July 17th with a ton of special rewards, so don't miss it. The link is down in the description and on screen. And thank you, Asphalt Legends Unite, for sponsoring this video. Now, there have been a lot of e-celebs in the scene giving their 2 cents on the situation. One thing that I find really, really strange is the majority of them are topless for some reason, to the point that female streamers are basically jumping in to do the same thing for a bit.
Should I make mine now? This is a weird angle they got going on.
And one of the people that was most defensive of the doc is Nick Merckx. Now, Nick Merckx and the doc are definitely close together. I mean, they have, you know, incredibly similar views. Both of them absolutely despising the woke culture on the internet. But surprisingly, Nick didn't actually double down and basically just full-on condemned him. I think his response is kind of funny as well, because he left in a part where his wife basically says, like, could you come over? And he's like, no, honey, I'm talking to the Twitter people. They need to hear my opinion.
And I can't support it. Hang on, honey. Doing this, talking to Twitter.
Now, surprisingly, Tim the Tapman, who is one of the closest people to the doc, whenever I see Disrespect streaming like Warzone or something, he's usually playing with Tim the Tapman. Tim the Tapman being someone who's very openly religious, and he has tried to be family friendly for quite a long time. Not as family friendly as like Nick A30, but I mean to the point that when there was a huge Fortnite boom, Tim basically cut out swearing entirely. But obviously now him doing Warzone and stuff, he just, you know, swears like anyone else. And Tim, to his credit, doesn't play around. He doesn't try to, you know, see both sides or anything like that. After seeing the statement, he genuinely just goes like, no, it's predatory behavior. I'm done.
That he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate if he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent. I cannot support that.
Now, there have been loads and loads of other people that have also came out. KSI, Mr. Low Taper Fade, QT Cinderella, Pokimane, and Valkyrie. You even had someone go the extra mile, and you just knew this was going to happen at some point. You might know the site Cameo, which is where, you know, kind of like washed up YouTubers do like cameos. You pay them like $5, and they'll say like a funny message to you, like happy birthday or something. Well, Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator is on Cameo, and someone paid him to do a custom video message addressing Dr. Disrespect.
Hello, Doc. I've been going through some of the transcripts of your online behavior, and I'm curious as why you're so into Whisper.
And obviously, after your friends drop you, the sponsors soon follow because they realize that you are just a huge brand risk. Turtle Beach, the gaming headphone company, they've basically scrubbed all mention of him from their website. They've even scrubbed the previous collab that they actually had together as well. Now, I want to take a minute to talk a little bit about Midnight Society, because originally, when the allegations first came out, before the doc officially responded, Midnight Society were one of the first people to officially drop him, and a lot of people call them cowards. I mean, even in my previous video talking about the situation, you know, I basically kind of said, even though I was, you know, doing a bit of a fence sit, talking about both sides, I really wanted to see what the doc would say, because, you know, like myself, I've been through allegations before. It's always important to wait for both sides to come out with their story before you pass judgment. So Midnight Society was a video game company that was founded back in 2021 by Dr. Disrespect, and also founded with Robert Bowling and Robert Del Hoyo, and also a guy called Sumit Gupta. Now, these guys are veterans in the scene. They've been producing a lot of popular video games like Halo and COD. Their idea wasn't just to make more games, but to also have a very popular e-celeb basically be the poster boy for their company. Because if anything, that helps you sell the product more. I mean, a good example is Prime Energy, right? Like Prime Hydration. No one would be buying a single can of that if it popped up in the corner shop. The only reason anyone buys it is because Logan Paul and KSI, two very famous people, are the face of the company. I mean, I'll be honest, if they weren't the face of the company, say Prime would probably be up there with like those, you know, there's like Emerge energy drinks, those really dodgy ones you see in the corner shop. I think there's another one as well. It's called like Euro Shopper energy drink. And as we know, on Monday, Midnight Society dropped the doc entirely from the company. They released a statement basically saying that they assumed he was innocent. They were waiting for his side. But once they talked to the parties involved, which means that they basically had, you know, behind the scenes insider knowledge, they made the decision to terminate him from the company immediately. Also, keep note how they said the word terminate here. I mean, that just seems like, you know, normal company corporate speak, but it will be very important later. Now, you might have seen the doc's last stream because after, you know, first acknowledging the allegations, not the big Twitter one, he acknowledged it a little bit beforehand, basically saying, you know, I'm not going to talk about it. It's been settled. I'm going to do Elden Ring on Monday. Going to, you know, rush through the Elden Ring DLC Tree because it literally just dropped. Myself, I feel like I've taken too long now. I basically need to play through the entirety of Elden Ring again. A little bit of a side note, but I've only got like one Elden Ring video on the entire PyroLive channel, and it's just me trying to beat the Tree Sentinel boss level 1 for about 2 hours straight, eventually doing it, and that is basically the entire video. Oh Lord, oh my God. And we point down, in Jesus' name, amen. How many tries was that? 50? 60? Now, myself and probably half of the internet were lurking this stream. He obviously set the chat to members only mode. You've got like 3 different, you know, settings on YouTube. Anyone can comment in the chat. Someone has to subscribe to comment in the chat. And then members. Members is basically like the Twitch sub button. You need to basically pay to comment. Now, anyone commenting and people that sub commenting, you're going to get a lot of trolls, a lot of, you know, rentoids that are obviously just going to be like, you know, how old was she? But he purposely set it to members only to hopefully filter those people out. He's done this before, by the way. This is not like a first time thing. I've clicked on some of his streams and they've been members only, but obviously it was a planned idea to put it on members only to hopefully get only diehard fans in the chat. And from what I saw in the chat, pretty much every single person was positive. Usually because when you realize you've got to fork out $7 for the guy you hate to send him a hateful message, you then kind of realize it probably isn't worth it. Why do that when I could just say it on Twitter instead for free? But on this stream, even though his chat were incredibly supportive, a lot better than I thought they'd be, to be fair, he does announce that he's basically going to be taking an indefinite break from streaming.
I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champ. So I just, you know, I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? I'm just feeling burnt out. I did have a sort of a planned vacation coming up, and I think I might just extend that starting today, starting now. I'm exhausted of being in front of the camera. I'm exhausted being on socials. The industry's changed so much. Just so much different energy out there, negative energy, and
but the thing that's interesting is when he announces this indefinite break and basically says he's going to, you know, spend time with his family, this only came a short while after Midnight Society tweeted that they're going to be dropping him. So chances are they didn't tell him behind the scenes, or if they did, they put out that tweet very shortly after. So he probably got a notification on his PC, his phone. He might have been doing a bit of lurking on stream, and that basically made him want to just end the stream. Again, talking about Midnight Society, notice how they mentioned that they terminated him, as in they're cutting him off. But then in his response tweet, he goes ahead and basically says that he made the decision to step down. Again, that doesn't sound anywhere near as aggressive as a termination, does it? But it gets even more interesting because Robert Bowling, one of the people that actually founded the Midnight Society company with the doc, he sent a message from his account basically saying, that was me. I'm the one that made the decision to just completely cut him off and terminate him. You know, Walter White with his hands up, you got me. And he goes on to say that this isn't any kind of like PR response to save face and to not associate with someone who he deems is le bad, but more so the fact that that's genuinely how he felt, and because of his personal values, i.e. having any kind of morality, he can't work with him anymore. So it does seem that he was terminated, but it also seems that the doc was almost kind of like twisting the words a little bit to not sound as severe. You know, I was never booted out. We just decided to, you know, go our separate ways. Even streamers like Ludwig from Video Games, you know, he approved of the decision and wished them their best. Because obviously Midnight Society wants nothing to do with Dr. Disrespect. It's not fair that Midnight Society should be punished for things that the doc has done behind the scenes. Now, the bigger question after all this is, what's going to happen now? What will YouTube do? Will they step in? There has been numerous examples of creators that have just been banned on pretty much every single platform for stuff like this. It happened with EDP. It happened with Minilad. You know, if enough word gets out, the big companies do actually step in and realize, wait, okay, maybe we should get rid of this bad person because that means sponsors won't work with us and we don't get any money. Twitch actually announced an update where they would be taking issues of sexual abuse and harassment very seriously and will issue permanent bans as permitted necessary. And then a couple days after that new rule was put into place, the doc was banned from Twitch. I'm not really sure if YouTube are going to do anything. If they do anything, they'll probably snipe him while he's away with his, like, you know, family cope holiday. And if he comes back and they don't, then we can assume that, yeah, YouTube just don't really seem to care. I mean, if he does get banned, what would happen to him then? I'll be honest, he'll probably just go over to Kick. One thing I do love about the internet, though, is like, no matter how serious an allegation is, people can just always make memes about it. I mean, one thing that's doing numbers at the minute is someone making like a tag marker of Dr. Disrespect, the same one that was used in Kendrick's diss track on Drake. But yeah, one thing's for sure, the doc has definitely disrespected.